Hello. You may not want to clap because I just came to tell you that you have a few more minutes to socialize because we are, it's nothing wrong. We just have some backstage stuff that we have to finish first and before we start. So you have about 5 more minutes. Thank you. Okay, thank you for your patience. We're getting ready to get started. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience. If I may ask you to take your seats, we are going to start. And I just want to tell you the order of this. We're going to show a short clip. It's a tribute clip to Scott Wilson. And then we'll have his widow, Heavenly Wilson, come out to introduce the movie, A Year of the Quiet Sun. And after that, we'll have Maya Komorowska, who we flew in from Warsaw and who starred in the film, to come. And she will have as a translator her son, Jerzy, who is majoring in philosophy in England in Warsaw. So let's start with the tribute clip to Scott Wilson. And now let's welcome Heavenly Wilson, Scott Wilson's life partner of 42 years. Thank you for sharing him with us.
And thank you, Jazz, for inviting me. That made me cry. Excuse me, I'm sorry. They chose really beautifully with that reel, didn't they? The scenes were wonderful. Thank you. Thanks. I need one of these. It took us 9 years to actually get this production going. Christoph called Scott and said he wanted him to do this film and told him about it, and Scott said, yes, of course, I'll do it. But then it took another 10 years of waiting, but it was worth every minute. Scott plays an American GI in Poland at the end of the Second World War. He is there with a unit that's charged with excavating a mass grave just outside this town that they land in. And on his way one day, he meets Emilia, played by the great Maya Komorowska, who's here in the back here. And he falls in love with her and she with him. Michael Wilmington wrote about that moment. This film shows the very moment that a man falls in love with a woman, and describes Maya standing in the doorway and Scott driving slowly, reversing away from her. And the look in his eyes is unmistakably love. The film was directed by wonderful director Christoph Zanussi, who's a great intellectual and a great director, has directed many important Polish films, and Maya has been in many of them. She was his muse, I think. You know, she's there through that period of time when they produced Structure of Crystals and many other great Polish films. The cinematography is conducted by Sławek Ijak, who is a great friend of ours, and Sławek has also come to the United States, which is quite an achievement. He did the photography for Black Hawk Down and several other things. He also worked with Kieślowski. And he was with us when we went to Monument Valley for the last scene of the film. I won't spoil it for you because I'll let you enjoy it. The music was composed for this film by Wojtek Kila, and it's great music. You'll see when you see the film. The other actors are Hanka Skajanka, who plays Emilia's mother. At the start of the film, she and Emilia are on a train escaping from all the trouble in the eastern provinces of Russia. And Maya's family also did that voyage by train from Lithuania in that time, after the Cold War, after the World War II. They're in the same building that Emilia and her mother live. Across the hallway, there's a woman who is actually a prostitute, and she is played by Eva Dałkowska. And there's a very mysterious man lurking in the shadows who represents the ever-present communist state. And he's played by Zbyszek Zapasiewicz, who's a great Polish actor, and he plays that role with such mischief and kind of threat together in the same glance almost. He's a wonderful actor. The film was made in 1984, and when it was completed, it had a world premiere in Krakow. Pope John Paul II was at that very moment in May of 1984 conducting a tour of Poland to many different places, and he was coming to Krakow. So they had the premiere there, and we all had an audience with His Holiness. The actual opening was conducted in this wonderful old theater in Krakow, much as this screening is being held in this beautiful theater. After that screening, we actually did screen it for John Paul II, His Holiness, at his summer retreat. Gosh, my mind is going on me. In Castel Gandolfo. That was great. After the screening, the Pope said, Scott and I were brought up to John Paul, His Holiness, and he said to Scott, he held his hand, and they looked into each other's for a long, long time, and His Holiness said to Scott, "You have reached deeply into Adam Milowski." That is the name of the character Scott plays. "I saw in you all of my thoughts about Adam Milowski." Now, this was the audience that Scott wanted to. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about another film that we made in Poland. Oh, gosh. But we did. Oh, yes. Darn, there's another film we made with Christoph called Our God's Brother, and it was based on a play that was written by Pope John Paul II. And he said that to Scott, he did. And the thing is that the character that Scott played was the Pope's own inspiration for his vocation. So that was really words of praise that Scott treasured. Now, gosh, how did I make that mistake? Well, but the wonderful thing about Year of the Quiet Sun was that it did show at Venice. And on the jury were Yevtushenko and the artist Bartusz and several other people. And they awarded the film the Golden Lion. So that was the first honor that it received. And then it was shown at the New York Film Festival. And Meyer and Christoph came out for that. And in Hollywood, people were trying to get the government of Poland to submit it for the Academy Awards, but the commissars decided not to do that because they were cross with the Academy for their showing Man of Iron, which was highly critical of the communist regime. So they fought us, and finally they won. But we got a Golden Globe we got a Golden Globe for it, or we got nominated for a Golden Globe. Or did we win? Gosh, I'm forgetting. I'm sorry. I'm terrible at this. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say. I think I've said all I need to say. And thank you very much for coming to watch.